Hello, it's Debbie Miller with Move or Improve with Debbie. Welcome to the show. Today, I want to talk about a topic. It's very much the most talked about in the housing industry, at least. The coming housing crisis is approaching, and owners look like deer in the headlights as far as knowing what to do. Baby boomers, especially, are going to feel the brunt of this. In the early 2000s, builders were constructing large, elaborate houses, often known as McMansions. As baby boomers are aging, though, they're discovering that maintaining a large home is more of a challenge, and it's only going to get worse as they get into their 80s and beyond. In today's real estate market, buyers of all ages are looking for smaller, newer homes in walkable areas. Properties with clean lines and open floor plans are selling the fastest. And millennials, which is now the largest group of home buyers, they prefer minimalist interiors and sleek appliances. They're tech savvy. They expect the homes to reflect these design features. Faced with a mass exodus of baby boomers who want to sell and move to either a rental or a smaller home or some other choice, the real estate market is due for a big change over the next 10 years or more. Baby boomers want to downsize but face competition from millennials who want the same smaller spaces that they do. And the baby boomers were born between 1946 and 1964, and they currently own 32 million. Yes, that's 32 million homes, or 2 out of every 5 homeowners is a baby boomer. There will be a real estate sell-off over the next several years as baby boomers sell their homes to move to warmer climates or lower tax states. They have to sell in order to finance their retirement or unload the home that was great when they were younger, but now has too many features to prevent aging in place. So those who do choose to age in place will make up the second stage of selling as they move into assisted living. The first phase, of course, is those who are ready, willing, and able to retire now and move on. Then the ones who want to age in place will be the second stage. The final stage will consist of those whose heirs must sell their parents' home to settle the estate. There will be heirs who decide to move in the family home and hold on to it, but more properties than this will glut the market. So you need to think about who will buy your home. Who is going to buy the home you're in, regardless of the phase or the stage that you're in, whether you're just getting ready to retire and move, or you want to age in place, or you have to sell the home to settle an estate. So that's what I want to discuss today. Will your home really appeal to a millennial? Or will it appeal to an investor or a move-up buyer? A lot will depend on the condition of your home, its location, and price. Millennials, the Gen Y generation, comprise 35% of all buyers, more than baby boomers. The millennials were born between 1980 and the year 2000. An overwhelming majority of them believe that home ownership is an important long-term goal, and they see real estate as a good investment. Over the next several years, millennials will account for about 2/3 of new household formation. Now, it's interesting, over half of them prefer the suburbs when they're looking for a home. Younger millennials who are still renting prefer the urban setting. According to statistics from the National Association of Home Builders, 3/4 want a single-family home of about 2,500 square feet on at least 2 levels, and it has to have an open concept floor plan. Over 80% said that they want either 3 or 4 bedrooms and 2 or 2.5 baths. The Gen Y generation, millennials, has a much clearer idea of what they want in a lifestyle, as well as clear ideas on how to achieve that lifestyle. It's harder for millennials to buy their first home. I mean, after all, homes cost a lot more than when baby boomers first bought theirs. And they have more debt, whether it be tuition payment or credit card or whatever. And there's a very limited supply of starter homes on the market, and that causes price increases as well. It's no wonder that so many millennials love alternative living situations like tiny homes, which are much cheaper and do offer a flexible lifestyle if you're just starting. But it remains to be seen what will happen to those tiny homes when millennials want to sell and move up to a larger home. Smart technology like using their phone to check on their house. Did they leave the lights on or forget to lock the door? Remote opening is a big deal. Or preheating their oven if they cook. Those will be expected features. The interior design of the home and a focus on function more than a lot of square footage is more important to them. They value outdoor living space for entertaining friends and family. They do not want to live in high density communities like a condo or a townhouse, and they do not want golf course communities. So, baby boomers who live in active adult communities on golf courses, down the road, you may have trouble selling unless the golf course itself is converted into something else. Top-ranking interior features include new kitchen appliances, large master bedroom, a two-car garage minimum, and a finished lower level. They prefer hardwood floors instead of carpet, and they're willing to pay extra to have solar panels and energy storage capability. And they're looking for newer homes, no older than 4 to 10 years, and they will consider older homes that have been fully renovated. That has to have been done. Living close to a major city remains important, but living in the city is not as much of a factor as it was thought to be. As a baby boomer, those with larger square footage will either have to walk away from their home or settle for a lower price than they want. And we're seeing that already in the marketplace in various areas of the country. There will be a glut in supply, which will decrease the value of their large homes. But you can consider some other options like selling to an investor. You may have a home with years of deferred maintenance. That may be too costly to bring it up to today's standards. This type of property appeals to an investor who, for a lower price, will buy it and either renovate it or tear it down and build a new home. You don't get as much money when you sell this way, but sometimes getting cash in a short period of time, because there's no inspection, no lender, it's sold as is, there's no appraisal, no hassle. That can help you move quickly on to the next phase of your life, especially if your mortgage is paid off. You can also negotiate the settlement date, which allows you more time to get packed and moved without a tight deadline. And you can settle quickly, get the cash, then move out a few weeks later, depending on your needs, because the builder or the investor purchasing has to go through the permit process and that sort of thing. And since you're choosing not to be represented by a realtor, be sure that the investor pays your closing costs and any back taxes, pays off any existing liens and mortgages, and leaves you a fair amount to move on to something else. It's better to have a realtor in this situation because they can negotiate a better deal for you. But you want to be sure you research the investor or the company who's interested in buying your home. There are scam artists aplenty. So you need to require proof from the settlement company that your mortgage balance has been paid in full and that the deed is duly recorded. It's called a certificate of satisfaction. And make sure you get the investor credentials. Find out what experience they have in your market. You'll see ads on the TV say, we'll buy your home in a short amount of time, and that sort of thing. You want to make sure of their credentials first. The other option is to sell to a move-up buyer. A move-up buyer is one who's outgrown their current starter home and needs more space due to a growing family, or they need to live closer to work, or they're taking in their parents to live with them. So what are some of those issues to watch for? Well, a buyer may need to make the purchase of your home contingent on the sale of their current home. So one thing you want your realtor to do is look at the buyer's home and the address and the condition and find out how long is it taking for other houses in that neighborhood to sell. And look under the active, the under contract, the sold, and also the houses that haven't sold in the past 90 to 180 days. And you can ask that the buyer get a bridge loan to use as the down payment for your home so you can continue with your settlement. And your realtor will check with the buyer's lender to be sure that the buyer can carry 2 mortgages if their house doesn't sell right away. Although with low inventory the way it is, that's not a usual case. The contract will mention that the sale is contingent on the settlement of the buyer's home. And it's not unusual for the buyer to sign their documents in the morning and then have the funds available to buy your home that afternoon or the next day. If your home is in an area that doesn't sell quickly, but the buyer's home is in a hot neighborhood, then the process will work out fine, most likely. Your realtor needs to check with the buyer's lender to be sure that the buyer has the funds to close. You're essentially taking your home off the market for a while. So you want to have your realtor include a clause that allows you to take a backup offer that may not be contingent on the sale of the buyer's property. That way you can go back to the current buyers if you get another offer and say, hey, I've got another offer. It's not contingent. Do you want to remove the contingency on the sale of your home and proceed to settlement? If not, then you would have the opportunity to take the other offer that's not contingent on the sale of their home. Another option is to make some strategic low-cost improvement to attract more buyers. But you say, well, what upgrades or improvements will give you the most return? Well, you don't get a second chance to make a good first impression. And the 3 most important things to remember when you're preparing to sell are, first, the preparation, which is getting the house ready. The second is pricing. Overpricing will guarantee that it sits. And presentation, meaning marketing to the right audience. According to Remodeling Magazine, here's the list of the most productive improvements that will give you the most return on your money. Exterior improvements, well, you can easily improve the curb appeal with just some landscaping like mulching in a non-desert area, colorful plants by the door, and power washing the exterior. People want to buy a house that's clean and doesn't need any work. You might choose to replace the front door with a steel reinforced one. If you don't have the money for that, you can paint the existing one and install new door hardware. Washing all the windows so people can see out and let the sun in, that will alone return a 91% return on your money spent. Another thing you can do is if you do have a garage, you might want to consider replacing the doors if they're older. That gives you about a 91% return. Another item to think about is if you have siding, manufactured stone veneer. Replacing vinyl siding with stone veneer is a big aesthetic improvement and gives you a 97% return, according to the magazine. Another thing to consider is adding a deck. Buyers want to extend their outdoor entertaining space, and adding a deck and railing systems with pressure-treated wood posts and railing and balusters will hold about an 82% value when you sell. But if you already have a deck, make sure you power wash and sand and seal it to improve the look so it looks clean and ready for them to move out onto. There are also minor kitchen upgrades you can consider. Many buyers obviously consider the kitchen as the heart of the home and spend most of their time there. A minor overhaul will get you as much as 81% of the cost and help the house sell faster. You can even paint the cabinets instead of replacing them. You switch out the old hardware for new, replace laminate counters with quartz or a new laminate. There's a lot of choices that look like real quartz, and quartz is replacing granite as the counter of choice since it's easier to care for. You can install a new inexpensive sink and faucet when you install the new counters. You can swap out your old appliances for new energy efficient ones. Buyers want move-in ready, and the kitchen is the most important room in the house. Another thing you can do is to update your bathroom. Regrout the tile, replace the toilet with a modern looking one, replace sink fixtures.